What kind of baits do we need to use when the water's really, really cold and getting colder almost every day this time of the year? Whoa! That's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls. January 3. We're going to move right along on this year. I tell you, I think that time flies whether you're having a good time or not. Now, if we could just kind of be grouchy and ugly every now and then and slow time down, it might be worth it. But since time flies, whether you're having a good time or not, might as well have a good time. That's my motto. January 3, Proverbs 10:2. You know, it wouldn't take me too long to get into Proverbs, didn't you? That's one of my favorites. This is a good one, too, because it says, riches gotten by doing wrong have no value. So in other words, if you're making money doing something, acquiring property, whatever you're doing, by doing wrong, it's got no value. You might look in your bank account, it might be pretty big, but it's got no value. It's not going to last. Something's going to happen to it. But right living will save you from death. Now that's kind of a paradoxical proverb right there, because it doesn't say that right living is going to make your riches worth a lot more than they really are. It says that if you're doing wrong, your riches will have no value. The way I'm looking at that, because you might die. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much riches you have, can't take it with you. Hey, streets of gold, paved with gold in heaven. It's not worth too much up there. Fishing tournaments have brought about the very best and the very worst in fishermen. While tournaments are incredibly fair and honest, cheating does creep in sometimes. Blatant cheating is usually discovered quickly. Cheaters are disqualified, generally banned for life. One of the things that's happened in BASS, FLW tournaments, pretty much every tournament organization, even some of the smaller tournaments around the country, if you get caught blatantly cheating, you're putting bass out or you're getting bass from somebody else during the tournament. And a lot of tournaments are buddy tournaments. So you and your buddy are fishing. So if you want to cheat, you can cheat. But if you do that, they're probably going to ban you and not ever let you fish tournaments again. And as a matter of fact, in Oklahoma, we actually have passed a law several years ago that if you're cheating in a tournament that money's involved in, it's a felony. It's punishable by going to prison. But in the tournaments, you're usually banned for life. Unintentional rule breaking is punished by penalties, such as a weight penalty or loss of your catch for the day. And I got to tell you, nearly every single tournament, someone loses a day's catch or is penalized for being late, or has a penalty of some sort that hurts them in the tournament. And it's unintentional rule breaking. Sometimes you get in an area where you're not supposed to. Sometimes you have a fish that you thought measured and it didn't, and you're charged a pound penalty. I've had that happen several times. Sometimes you have a fish that just barely makes it, and you bring it in and you just hope that guy can just barely make it also when he checks your fish, and if it doesn't make it, you're charged a pound penalty. The most damaging cheaters are the ones who bend the rules for their own benefit and ill-gotten gain. These anglers are bending or breaking the rules with almost no chance of ever being caught. But get this, those gains will never last. So if you're one of the tournament fishermen out there kind of bending the rules a little bit, doing stuff that you're probably never going to get caught at, the gains that you have will never last. Opportunities for ill-gotten gain come into our lives all the time. While we may never be caught, our very life may depend on how we handle these temptations to cheat. Opportunities for ill-gotten gain come into our life all the time. If you're in business, like that's all we've done since we got out of college, was operated in business. Small business is what our television show is, our boat business, our Kawasaki business, our store, our travel agency. Everything is just simply a small business, and we operate completely above board in everything we do. And this is one of the reasons, is because the gains you have by getting money doing something wrong is never going to last. But opportunities for ill-gotten gain come into our lives all the time. While we may never be caught, our very life may depend on we handle these temptations to cheat. Right living will save you from death. Here's our tip for today. Bass are not very aggressive in cold water. So we want to use slow-moving baits and be very, very patient. Give you one more little tip, because we're fishing an awful lot in the wintertime now, trying to catch a really, really big bass. Some of y'all that have been with me for a while know that my buddy Josh Jones and I are actively pursuing a state record bass here in Oklahoma. That's a lofty goal because it's over 15 pounds. But we've caught them over 12. We haven't caught a 13, but we're not far missing it. If there's one swimming around some of the lakes here in Oklahoma, we're going to find that rascal. And if we find him, we might be able to get him to bite. But let me tell you something else that we've learned in the wintertime like this. You've got to keep your bait up above the fish. So wherever the fish is, wherever you figure they are, if they're 10 foot deep, keep your bait about 9.5 foot. You very seldom catch one by running your bait down below them. That's what we've learned using a live scope. And you got to keep your bait above those fish. You got to use slow moving baits, and you have to be very, very patient. Sometimes it's almost impossible to get one of those fish to bite. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, I sure do love you.